Yo, welcome back. What is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? We're back again with another daily Casper and crypto live stream. A lot earlier today, I know, but A, I'm busy till later on today, and two, it's quite an important stream today. We've got sort of an emergency announcement, if you will. We have seen a catastrophic collapse, which we predicted yesterday. Those who were watching the stream yesterday night, you would have saw and heard us talk about how we're seeing a massive correction in crypto and all markets across the board in preparation for the open market starting today. Markets opened and we saw a capitulation across the board. We saw Bitcoin correct below down to 74k like most predicted, which is good to see. We saw even Kaspa earlier today correct down to the support of 5.2 cents. But now look at where we're at. Kaspa's currently up 10.94% on the daily time frame, valued at 6.4 cents. Is it going to stay that way and continue going up higher? We'll have to wait and see. Nothing's confirmed right now. We are still in a very, very uncertain time. But so far, news is actually looking pretty optimistic, if I say so myself. I would like to believe that Black Monday is going to be averted because the Fed, their hands are being forced right now. We've got some interviews to cover in this stream regarding JP Morgan's. Which one was it? Yeah, JP Morgan's Bob Michael saying the Fed are going to have to cut rates before the next meeting, which is meant to be in May. And right now, the Fed are having a closed-door meeting. We've got other interviews as well, with the likes of the former CEO of BlackRock, who explains precisely what we are seeing right now and what we should expect, which also gives a very, very good insight. All in all, we've got some Kaspa updates as well, of course. All in all, the markets look like horror right now, and we are seeing in some regions of the world a collapse as comparatively to the 2008 financial crisis. China, for example, they had the biggest correction since '08. It's not a small deal by any means. So the only thing that's going to prevent a recession right now, which seems to be all the buzz, is if we get rate cuts and quantitative easing, and we are going to get those before we cut rates every time. And that's also explained in this interview here. Every time we get close to a recession, every time, the Fed do what the Fed do. They step in and they start cutting rates and printing money. So I'm not remotely worried right now at the markets. We predicted this. We predicted this. So there's no reason to be concerned right now. And we've got a lot of news to cover, a lot of interesting news. Also got some big updates regarding Tandem and Kaspa as well, which is very interesting as well. We'll get into this post a little later on. So as always, if you enjoy these daily streams, this FOMO, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. And just know, of course not financial advice, it's my personal belief, but just know in my belief, with what is due to come out with crypto, with what's due to come out in the immediate short term as well, I don't think we've got a lot to be worried about right now. Short-term pullbacks, yes, I've been saying that for a while. We still can see more small-term pullbacks, but going into the latter half of April, even into May, I believe we're going to start seeing some relief rallies and some upwards markets. Got a lot to look forward to still, and arguably this is a premium time to start allocating and restarting back in if you feel it's time for you again. Do your own research and trade at your own discretion. With that being said, welcome back everyone to the stream. We've got Andy A, brother, my man. Welcome back. Just making sure I can have it all loaded up. There you go. Yeah, Andy A, bro. What's up, brother? First. And Didi also first. I guess everybody who joins now first. What's up? What's up, Greg, bro? Yo to you too. What's up, brother? Welcome back to the channel. Hello to you too. Devious me as well, my man. Hello, Erica. I like this time better than afternoon. I mean, I do try and switch it up here and there. Typically speaking, I'll do it always around 8 p.m. British Standard Time, which is when we normally go live. But when I am busy in the later on evenings, which I mean, you know, with how much I do in regards to my work, sometimes I'm busy later on. I try to always keep that time slot free, but I couldn't today, so therefore I had to put it earlier. But this is where I used to start streaming as well. I used to start streaming at 4. So either way, those who are watching now on playback, hope you're having a very good day so far and are looking forward to what is to come. Know that the crisis is going to soon be all over. Fake news on 90 days pause. Yes, that's also one of the sources we have in today's video as well. There was apparently a leak from CNBC that stated the tariffs are going to be paused for 90 days, and that has been confirmed to be complete rubbish. We'll get to that again in a moment. That might be the reason why we're seeing a slight relief in some crypto assets, but I think it's for another reason as well. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. What's up, Kevin, bro? What happened what the hell is happening, chat? I just got watching my phone and see a bloodbath. Yes, so We'll get into that, of course, as well, Kevin. Don't worry. We'll get into the whole ins and outs, what's happening, what we expect to happen, and going from there as well. If you watched my stream yesterday, you would have seen everything that's happening right now. We predict this much. We knew it was going to happen. And equally, those who have watched the video I made yesterday regarding stablecoins, because I did mention about the market sentiment at the end of the video. Equally, if you watched the altcoin video, you would have seen me put a more deep dive analysis on what's happening in the market right now and what we should be expecting. So again, if you haven't watched those, definitely watch these two videos here, and they'll give you an insight on what's going on right now and what we should expect in the immediate short term and also going towards the rest of the cycle as well. Welcome back, Crypto brother. Welcome to do very, very well. Having a very good day into that. Man, I just got $7,000 being deposited today, and I'm, of course, Kappa pumps. That's my luck. Yeah, I mean, count yourself somewhat lucky though, because I still need dry powder. I just wish I had some more dry powder to scoop up some Kaspa right now. But either way, again, we could see some more downside still right now. Today's a very, very important day. Wednesday's a very, very important day. Thursday, this whole week is going to be probably the most volatile week we've seen yet in crypto. So there may be more opportunities. So, don't be emotional, be logical, and lock in, is all I can say. That being said, let's get into the news source of today, covering what is going on in the markets right now. Is it the last dip? Not confirmed yet. Again, we'll discuss exactly what we expect happening throughout this week. This week could be one of the last volatile weeks, but again, we'll play a wait and see approach for the meantime. That being said, first post here from Kaspa Silver here is highlighting exactly how I feel and how we should all feel right now. Kaspa, it's times like this when I like to stress the importance of having no worthless debt, having cash, and a DCA strategy, a dollar cost average strategy, putting it in incremental periods, not just all in at once. Every single week on Monday, I log into my account and I buy a certain amount. Days like today, I unloaded more capital into things I want to buy. This is a strategy for the true long-term investors. There's absolutely no drop in any of my investments that will mess me up financially. It can only mess me up mentally, but that is if I allow it. After buying, I go on about my day, enjoying another day of life that God has blessed me with. No promise to live tomorrow, so make sure you live in the present as much as you possibly can. If you are panicking during this time, you're probably overinvested or you don't understand what you are buying. The long and short of it is, don't be emotional, be logical. DCAing is, there are multiple ways you can end up making money in this space, whether it be through actively trading, whether it be through just DCAing, just holding on for long strategies. All of them have their measurements, their benefits and their negatives. The safest way is DCAing, and the most important part he highlights here is, again, you should not be investing capital that is going to make you emotional, that you need. It should be excess money that you don't. It's money that you can just throw away and burn as you needed to, but you're putting it in something that's going to make your money work. Investments. That's exactly what's happening right now, and that's exactly how I feel as well. That's why I have never felt negative about Kaspa, or any crypto for that matter. Anything I'm holding, I have no doubt in my mind, A, they're going to come back, and B, even if it goes to zero, I'm not personally worried, because it's not money that I need. But in saying that, I still think all the assets in crypto, or the majority of them, the ones that I'm holding in particular, are going to make significant rallies this cycle. I'm talking XRP, Kaspa, Sui, C, etc., etc. They are all right now finding their bottoms after we're seeing a Black Monday crisis ahead of us, and we're going to prove as such right here. So, yesterday night, or yesterday in general, we saw $1.35 billion liquidated from the crypto market in 24 hours, which is absolutely nuts. And we saw, again, Bitcoin crept down very, very heavily. Kaspa crept down yesterday to just below 5.7 cents. And Bitcoin crept down yesterday to just short of the support zone at 77 cents. And then earlier today, they correct even further. But looks like now Bitcoin's making a somewhat of a relief, a recovery, and it could be based, it is based on the macro news, but it could be based on the fake news, but I actually think it's based on the confirmed news, which I'm going to announce now. Europe are now negotiating with Trump about tariffs. So the tariffs are working. So that is reassuring. Very reassuring. And also because of the Fed as well. Again, we'll get into that in a moment. So to cover it a bit more, markets crashed all over the place. The Japanese finance minister is urging investors to stay calm. Tough to do. You should, but it's tough to do. Thailand Stock Exchange has temporarily banned short selling. They're not letting you make money from a capitulated market. China's stock market suffers the worst single-day crash since 2008. That is what we're currently witnessing on Black Monday. Crashes across the board, disaster across the board, all stock markets, all markets going to... I think I've seen the stock market wiped out $2 trillion, something like that again. Ridiculous stuff, insane stuff. Even Australia, they wiped out $160 billion in just 15 minutes. It's hit pandemic era lows against the euro and pound, like we saw in COVID. And now markets are bracing for a global recession. But the chances of us getting one, at least at this current moment in time, is not high because we have not seen quantitative easing, money printing, or rate cuts. I made a post in my community earlier today, those who potentially getting a little bit flustered, if you will. And I even made a comment to someone, I'll be replying to comments more frequently now on my YouTube channel as well. And I made a comment to someone who's basically saying, market's over, bear market's in. And I'm like, you can't say a bear market's in when we still have so many more catalysts still to come. The markets are capitulated right now, no doubt. They're crashing. But we haven't had money printing yet, or rate cuts, both things that are going to happen before we get a recession. If we are still collapsing after that, then yeah, sure, maybe recession's confirmed and bear market's in, but we get the QE and rate cuts first. You also have, stablecoin regulatory bills and market structure bills coming out in America as well that will also act as market catalysts for crypto as well. So in that regard, I'm going to play this little video here from JP Morgan's Bob Michael, who, I'm not mistaken, Bob Michael is the head of fixed income at JP Morgan. And Bob Michael here ultimately highlights that the Fed may have to cut rates before the next meeting. This is very close to this interview from Bloomberg because this is giving us a very good insight on what's happening right now.
Bob Michael, the global head of fixed income at JP Morgan Asset Management, writing this: both the administration and Federal Reserve are behaving as though the market moves are business as usual. We cannot believe that the Fed will wait until something breaks before responding. Bob joins us now for more. Bob, good evening.
Happy to be here.
GFC.com, the pandemic. Frame this moment. What is this for you and the team?
Well, I was reading Larry Summers earlier, who pointed out that Thursday and Friday were back-to-back the worst market drops, except in 3 other instances: the '87 stock market crash, 2008 the financial crisis, and then 2020 COVID. So this is a historic period, and as you point out, we're down another 5%. I would tell you, in the other 3 instances, the Fed stepped in immediately and cut rates sizably. So I think for now, if you go back to Friday, the Fed can talk tough. They have to be looking at this. I don't know if they can even make it to the May meeting before they start bringing rates down.
At the same time, nothing seems to have broken yet. It doesn't seem like things have gotten disorderly yet, despite the margin calls. And there is a real concern about inflation picking back up. How much can you really reject what Jay Powell said on Friday?
Well, you have to reject something he said over the last few years. Remember, they talked about the long and variable lags. So now they're saying they're going to wait for the accident before they respond and then wait for the long and variable lags to take hold. I don't think so. I think if you step back and look at the totality of what's going on, you cannot believe that there's nothing under the surface that's going to break. We already know that businesses in the lower rated end of the quality spectrum have been struggling. When you look at private credit and look at the percentage of amend and extends, it's very high. What happens when their cost of funding just ratcheted up another couple percent and they're going to see top line growth come down as well as their input costs go up? I think this is a serious moment. I do not think the Fed can just sit on the side.
If you do believe...
I do not think the Fed can just sit on the sidelines. That is the only sentence that we need to really pay attention to here. But of course, he highlights a lot of very insightful things as well in the past, where every time we got close to a quote recession, we saw the Fed step in, start cutting rates, and start printing money. And it's no different this time as well. In fact, as we can see, and again I put this in my community earlier, if you want to keep up to date with everything crypto and Kaspa and the market in general and what's going on, come join the free Discord server, because all the information that I'm providing here today, I will highlight, and not just me, our community, all of us working together to work and understand and research and learn more, and we put this information in earlier about what's going on right now and what you should expect. So again, if you want to know more, check out the free Discord server. And equally, there's a lot more in-depth insight in the VIP group as well, which I'll also talk about a little bit later on as well. But what I want to highlight again is what's happening today. There's going to be a closed board meeting today at 11:30 a.m. I believe that's Eastern time. But 11:30 a.m. today with the Federal Reserve. So, with this closed door meeting, it is highly likely that they're going to be discussing the monetary system, the economic crisis we are currently witnessing, deciding whether they need to issue rate cuts right now and step in. And if they do, we will be hearing an announcement, an emergency press conference, if you will, later today most likely, that they have now decided to start cutting rates. If we don't, then we might see a lot more pain this week. Because today could be a good day. Black money has already come through. Markets crashed when they opened. Or just show it across the board. But the Fed may step in, as they should do, to stop the pain. So maybe they're going to avert any more further corrections. But we've got to remember as well, the reciprocal tariffs that Trump implemented worldwide, they go into effect on the 9th of April, on Wednesday. So if the Fed don't cut rates now, likelihood we're going to see even more pullbacks leading up to Wednesday as well. The reason why they may not cut rates, which they've highlighted time and time again, is because they are unsure about what Trump's tariffs are doing, and also because they are unsure about the current inflation. Now, according to Trump, oil prices are down, interest rates are down, food prices are down, and there is no inflation. And if you look at the Trueflation website here, it highlights that right now it's at 1.46%. So it's extremely low. And in fact, it's been coming down a lot since Trump's got into office. Be that as it may, this also makes Thursday, the 10th of April, a critical day, because Thursday is when the CPI inflation data is released. So we're able to see what the data states in regard to the inflation in our economy. So for me, I personally believe and I pray that there are rate cuts today, just to avoid and to just nip this FUD in the bud a little bit. Because there's still going to be a lot more. I think there's still potential to us seeing more pullbacks. I think this week is going to be very, very volatile. Potentially highs and lows. Jumping like a jackrabbit, like a roller coaster. Because there's still a lot of uncertainty. This is a good thing, hearing this board meeting, this closed door meeting, but we don't know if they are going to issue rate cuts. We're waiting and praying for it because how bad the markets are right now. We believe they should do that. And again, that's what Bob Michael said here. The Fed can't just wait on the sidelines. They can't wait until May's FOMC meeting. They've got to do it beforehand right now because it's looking like a disaster. And I agree. Maybe they don't do it today. Maybe they have to issue another emergency meeting when they finally have inflation data. Because inflation actually is what Trump says, and it's not as high as we think, or it's actually come down, then there's less cause of concern and they can start cutting rates, because rate cuts cause inflation as well. Money printing causes inflation as well, but inflation's down, then it's not a problem. The market is now pricing 5 rate cuts by the end of the year, which is more than the Fed's original 2, they stated. So we can see a lot more rate cuts. This is, again, reassuring. We don't need rate cuts on QE, normally, but in the current market we're in right now, I say we probably do, to avoid a recession. If we don't get them, then yes, we do probably get a recession. The tariffs aren't the main sole cause, but they are one of the key catalysts for such. The main sole cause for me on why we're seeing markets correct is by design, because the United States need to refinance their $9 trillion worth of debt. And they don't want to refinance it at an extortionate price. So instead, they're crashing the market so they can do it at a lower level. But if it goes any further and we don't get money printing, recession is definitely on the cards. Homelessness is definitely on the cards. But in saying all of that, post here from Trump, we have massive financial deficits with China, the European Union, and many others. The only way this problem can be cured is with tariffs, which are now bringing tens of billions of dollars into the United States. They are already in effect, and they are a beautiful thing to behold. The surplus with these countries has grown during the presidency of Sleepy Joe Biden. We are going to reverse it, and reverse it quickly. Someday people will realize that tariffs for the United States of America are a beautiful thing. Now, we can debate that. Of course, right now, sentiment around tariffs is very, very negative, and I don't blame that at all. I don't. But I do believe these tariffs are having an effect. Vietnam, Yeah, Vietnam, they have already had an agreement and negotiation with Trump. Their 90% tariffs have gone down to 0. Zimbabwe have now got no tariffs. They negotiate with Trump. Argentina are doing so. India are doing so. We can even see now Europe are saying they're ready to negotiate tariffs with Trump. So they are having an effect. Europe Union says they're ready to discuss 0 for 0 tariffs with the United States. This is extremely bullish news and potentially adding to why we're seeing a little bit of relief now with some crypto assets like Kaspa. I mean, Kaspa's moving so much because it's already extortionately undervalued. Almost 80% in accordance to the power law. Very undervalued right now. Currently up just short of 10% now. Still very volatile, as we can see, but it is pumping quite a lot because of how undervalued it is and because, we're seeing a lot more coming. I know I did see a chat earlier about Kaspa and its current volume as well, which is also looking optimistic and good. You can see Kaspa's volume right now is at 282 million, which we've seen it high, we've seen it at 600, but that is reassuring to see such high volume with Kaspa. Dominated by the likes of Gate by 41%, which is absolutely insane. XT is at 13, MEXC is at 10, BTCC is currently at 9. But that is absolutely insane to see such high volume for Kaspa, and of course majority on Gate. That could be a cause for concern. But for me, again, what's important to note in regards to Gate at least, it seems to be mainly through outflows. If you look at the top wallet addresses right now, we can see Gate has seen almost 40 million Kaspa outflows. And once again, like clockwork, wallet number 2, speculated Binance wallet, has scooped up another 1,600,000 Kaspa. And lo and behold, the Kaspa comes from Gate. So, again, what's happening right now, while I'm sure fear's at all-time highs, panic is definitely highs as well, I'm still not personally worried. I think what's coming in the space is telegraphed. We are, equally the post here, which is about how the CNBC reported that no one at the White House is aware of Trump considering a 90-day tariff pause. That also could potentially be why we're seeing some form of relief due to misinformation. But I think actually it's more so because of people seeing the effect tariffs are having. They're right now holding strong hope that the Fed are going to cut rates today, and they're also seeing that Europe are now ready to negotiate. So right now Trump is throwing his dick about, as he can do with America being the largest and strongest economy in the world, and it's having an effect. It's working, at least seemingly so far. It's crashing markets definitely, but the crashing market is by design, and therefore forces other nations who are now also losing a lot of money because of the further tariffs to now negotiate to stop the further corrections. So in that regard, actually, I also want to play this video here before we get into some more questions and news from the former BlackRock manager, who breaks down what's happening right now in the space, what we should look forward to, and ultimately, this is all by design. So listen very closely again.
Communicated a little better, but a lot of...
I doubt your thoughts, sir. Thank you for coming on. You're in Hawaii today, Ed?
It's 12:12 here.
Okay. My God, you're such a. I'm gonna have to think about that. I may need some Hawaiian time, sir.
Come visit.
Your thoughts.
Well, look, two things. We're still analyzing the tariffs, but there's a lot of confusion, a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of takes and emotions. It could have been communicated a little better, but it looks like the Trump administration decided to put the end goal out there. We want zero. We want deficits to be zero. This is how we calculate the tariff, and let's now come to the table and figure this out, rather than go into all the legal documents, looking at all. You know how much time it would take to negotiate every little product and every little reciprocal tariff. This is just a way to get people to the table, and I think it's going to yield some benefits down the line. This is a dynamic process, but there's a lot of confusion. I think it's a way to cut through all the time it would take to negotiate with each country one by one on reciprocal tariffs. It's like, this is the end goal, and let's start and come to the table and see what we can talk about. That's what I think the purpose ultimately was, and I think that's the goal.
Now, we'll be playing more of this interview a little bit later on, because what it covers as well is that potentially we still got some more pain coming through, and it's important. But the key part to highlight there is, once more, when Trump took over, seemingly what he wanted was, fairness, I guess. He wanted to negotiate with other countries, but they didn't care to negotiate with Trump. So what did he do? He pushed his weight. He swung his dick about. He implemented tariffs worldwide. And he caused market crashes. Partly because of refinancing debt, I'm sure, debt reaching maturity, but also because he wanted to negotiate with other countries. And we're seeing it literally working. Europe, who have been very combative, at least, vocally, about we're not going to support Trump, I'm not going to do what he wants, they're now apparently ready to negotiate. India, ready to negotiate. Zimbabwe already has. Vietnam already has. And I'm sure there are many, many more who already have or are stepping up to the plate. I think Argentina have already as well. So right now, while disaster seems to be on the cards, and again, this week's going to be a very, very volatile one, things are seemingly calming down. Or at least, I wouldn't say calming down, there's definitely still more downside in the immediate short term, I believe. We may very well see Bitcoin come down to 70k. Worst case, I think, if possible. But as you also want to take a look at the empty money supply, as we do highlight, you can see that actually it's somewhat following the supply still. Peak, come down, peak up here, come down. So, going into mid to late April, into May, there's so much money right now, or like we could hopefully start seeing Bitcoin and therefore crypto start to rally as well, going into late April into May. So I'm still not worried. This is all, by design, if you will. We can still more down. I have to keep reiterating, we're going to still probably see more downside, because right now we're still in a period of uncertainty. We're waiting for the Fed. The Fed right now is, I think, this meeting right now, everybody's watching this like a hawk. When to see what's going to be announced. That's what they're waiting for. If you're trading, this is going to be a very, very crucial time for you. Whether you're going to short or long, you've got to keep very, very close eyes. If you're just spot trading and holding, well, these are premium opportunities in my belief. Very, very cheap value. Again, Kaspa is almost 80% undervalued according to the power law. And other assets as well, equally down massively. As you look at Tau, Tau's below $200 now. Sui is back down to almost where I bought at 1.8, which is absolutely insane. C is down to 14 cents. XRP is below $2 again, which is insane. Down here, you've got XLM, Algorand, HBAR all down massively. And there are many more assets in the space that have good potential to do well this cycle who are also down 70-80% because of the tariffs, because of the FUD. The headlines themselves is causing fear. But again, I do think it's by design, and I think, again, the worst of the pain is either behind us or soon to be over. The Fed may not be able to wait until May to cut rates. And if they somehow can, May is going to be an extremely bullish month, because there's no way, in my belief, it's my personal belief, again, I could be very, very wrong, but in my belief, there's no way the Fed cannot afford to cut rates in May. If the market continues to correct in the way it has been doing, they'll have no choice. To avoid a recession, they have to do it. Rate cuts are going to come through. We're going to see more and more nations start to negotiate with America to stop their corrective markets. But I'm going to play this video again real quick, and then ask some questions, then we'll get into some Kaspa news. The rest of the video here talking about what's still left to come, and potentially some more pain as well. So listen again very closely.
It actually saves a lot of time, because I think they would have been bogged down for months trying to figure this out. That's opinion number one. Opinion number two on the economy, the stock market. Look, fraudulent elections have catastrophic consequences, as you've often said. The last 2 to 3 years of this economy have been fraudulent. And we have a stock market bubble, all-time valuations. Trump inherited that. It was coming down regardless. And his policies were going to shut off the liquidity spigot from the government, and this was bound to happen. Tariffs are the reason du jour. But quite honestly, we were topping out since December. There were warning signs in the market. The AI bubble burst in February, and now the trade tariffs have just fed on it. This is phase one, stock market bubble bursting. If I'm a betting man, we're getting close to some sort of washout low and maybe a massive recovery as more and more countries come to the table. So this is phase one. We'll have a relief rally, but then we're going to have to deal with the housing crisis that was caused by the aliens. They priced a lot of people out of the market. We're going to have a housing correction, a housing recession. So, the Trump administration is realigning the economy, restructuring the economy. I think home prices going down will be a good thing for the middle class. And this is very painful to the financial elite, but to the average man, as long as he keeps his job, should have more opportunities down the road. But it's not going to be pretty. It's going to take a long time, but it had to be done because the other way was a currency crisis and a loss of reserve currency status if we kept going the way we were going.
Love or hate Trump? By this point, both is completely valid, and I understand both sides of things. But what I understand and what I can personally believe is, regardless of who is in power, we were on the literal cusp of a dollar collapse, of the dollar losing world reserve currency status. And if that happened, all economies across the board, what we're seeing right now, it would be 10 times worse. It would be worse than the 2008 financial crisis, no doubt. The pain that's being caused, in my belief, is necessary. Again, I'm not trying to say I support Trump at all. There could have been other ways he did this. But the pain we're seeing right now, I believe, is necessary pain to avoid a global catastrophe. We're seeing a catastrophe right now across the globe, but the levels we're seeing could have been 10, 20, 50 times worse. That's what the former BlackRock manager is saying. That's what other elites are saying. That's what analysts are saying as well. While I don't wholeheartedly blindly believe all these people because again they have their own agendas, there are elements in truth in what's being said right now. We may see some more pain. But with what Trump's doing in such a aggressive manner, he could have done it a different way, sure, but how aggressively he's doing it, he is forcing the other nations to approach him sooner rather than later, instead of waiting months, doing it ASAP to fix the economy as quickly as possible, to refinance their debt. We have already had confirmation of north of $3-4 odd trillion that's now been invested into the United States. Some of it's over a span of like 4 years, but either way, the investments are coming through now. So evidently there is something working. Is he trying to force it too hard? Because it's a snap? We don't know. But something is working right now. And should we see the data come back that supports that inflation is down and the market's actually... The only problem with the markets right now is that it's stagnating, but it's actually all the analytics are down. Because again, the unemployment data, for example, that was 4.2% instead of 4.1%. So it was slightly higher, but we saw 80,000 more jobs created. 209,000 as opposed to 127,000 more jobs, non-farm payroll jobs was added in March. So we're seeing more jobs coming to the economy. So evidently something is working. The problem is there's so much conflicting data, it's so hard to really ascertain what's going on. People hate Trump, I get that. Markets are capitulating, I get that. But truth be told, the alternative would have been we all lose completely. Dollar would have gone to zero, all money would have gone to zero. Would have been a complete pandemic. You know, you thought COVID was bad, you thought 2008 was bad. Some are saying it would have been worse than the Great Depression, which would have been absolutely insane. Will we recover in the immediate short term? Tough to say. I want to believe if we get the Fed cutting rates right now, and we do get the inflation data coming out on Thursday that ends up being positive, and more nations come to negotiate with America and the tariffs, then I'd like to believe that this could hopefully be the bottom, last of the pain. But again, there's still too many uncertainties. So for me, this week's going to be a very, very critical one. You need, or I would highly recommend, you tune into these streams every single day, and also check out the free server here, where you can come chill chat and learn a lot more about what's going on in this space. And I will make announcements on when I'm going live as well, so you can catch me at the right time. And equally, if you want to be even more informed on what's coming to the space in the future, what the institutions are looking at as well, while also learning how to actually trade in this market, come check out the VIPgroup.com. We offer a 7-day free trial period in here. So you can join, get a peek behind the curtain, see if it's worth your while. And we also do weekly live streams in here, which is even more in-depth, going through institutional research documents. We publish our documents in there as well, trade alerts, education, and much more. We're still building it up, of course, but there's a lot to come. So if you're interested, again, 7-day free trial period, VIPgroup.com/Quantum Factory. Link down below in the description. Also in my homepage here as well. My concerns are negative. My conviction has never been stronger. The information that I'm looking at every single day, for me, is all by design. I've even made videos on this recently as well, which normally the stuff I tend to only talk about to the executives here, and I'm talking about it in a bit more open manner right now, because I feel like the FUD is getting to higher levels and I need to. I feel like it's my duty as an educator to try and at least provide some insight on what's going on right now. More pain could be possible in the short term, but as Ed highlights here, the relief rally potentially is also close to being in as well. And for Kaspa, equally, I think it's also close as well due to how undervalued it is right now, but also due to their immediate catalyst as well, and what we're seeing coming out in this current stage in time right now as well. So I'll get into it in a moment. Beforehand, I'm going to answer some questions real quickly and just see what's been talking about. 1 cent waiting room, Chads. Wait, I mean, Kaspa going to 1 cent would be absolutely nuts. I personally believe that if it did go down to 1 cent, that would be, potentially signs of the project just dying off, despite, hash rate. I mean, hash rate has been coming down continuously, which is partly due to nodes switching to the new Kaspa version 1, but also because the price has come down so heavily. A lot of miners are just turning offline right now. It's not profitable. But for me, again, when 10 BPS gets activated onto the mainnet in 28 odd days time, I'm sure the pain and the hash rate will be gone. The hash rate will start going back up again, and the adoption will come through as well. We'll get much more adoption coming through the markets. Hopefully we'll start to recover as well, following the M2 supply. I think Kaspa will do very, very well. But we'll get to more capitalists again in just a moment. I'm glad you just very happy with this post. I needed to hear that. Hey, and you're welcome, brother. And yeah, again, the sentiment that he states there is something I share as well. People have different ideologies of how they view crypto and Kaspa. Some view Kaspa as they view crypto as an investment to make quick gains or just make gains in general, but to help just basically make money and then put it back into your actual fiat currency. Some others view it as an actual new currency, the new dollar, effectively. And I view it as both. Of course, I want to take some of it out, but I'll also be holding a majority of it as well, in the belief that Kaspa is going to become a new currency that's going to be widely adopted. They've got the early stage adoption, while maybe not as significant as other projects. They have got some with KRI and KEF that will give them some early stage adoption. And I think Kaspa can do very well the cycle, no doubt. What's up, Art Zero, brother? What can you do? Having a very, very good day. Yo. Jay, do you know any McDonald's that are hiring? Oh, God, do I know that feeling? I don't, because there's currently a job crisis as well right now. But I'm hopeful that in the next, month or two, I want to say, if everything goes, again, this is all based on the premise that we don't get another black swan, another crisis event. If everything goes according to plan, which is always tough to say, but if it goes according to plan, with what we just spoke about right now, next month or two we'll start to see a relief. Welcome back, Eternal Night, brother. Hey all, Kaspa holding strong. It's holding very strong right now. Look at all the projects right now. Some are pumping quite well. At one point I saw Kaspa up 14%. I mean, we look right here. Kaspa is currently performing very well. It literally traded between these two levels of support right now, which is insane. Very, very volatile for Kaspa. So that leads me to believe as well that potentially, unless we get another black swan, crisis, Kaspa can continue trading sideways in this zone until we end up getting the catalyst and the good news, which would then cause Kaspa to start making a rally up higher. Hopefully then to push towards all-time highs. From what I have heard and seen, there aren't many cell walls and barriers that are like up here. I'm sure they'll end up forming to start rallying up, but from what I've heard and seen so far, most of the massive barriers that are holding Kaspa down, even at the all-time high here, apparently they're being removed right now. But you've got to do your own research regarding that. But again, I think Kaspa's bottom has effectively been priced in right now. We're shorting Tau and entered right at reversal. Ah, sucks to hear, Eternal. Lost $600. Thanks God, my spot portfolio didn't got any damage. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's inherently the problem with trading. it can be a very, I mean, again, the trading element is more risk to reward. Of course, it's the benefits of potentially making quicker gains quicker, but of course, it's a high risk, you can lose it all. To which we are in the process right now with our experienced trader C Cryptos in the process of sometime this week releasing a kind of general trading education video that hopefully, I mean, I'm not saying you don't know how to trade at all, Eternal, I'm sure you do, but it might give you some potential insight on what in the ideas of someone else who is going to effectively teach people in the community on how you can trade. And of course, we put in trade alerts there as well, so if you want to find out more, again, we've got the WOP group here, the VRP group. Trading is not an easy thing to do, but so far trades there have been relatively profitable so far, and I know people who are part of that group, I'm not going to name names, although they have already announced it themselves, so I'm sure they wouldn't mind me doing so, but I know people in that group already who have been trading have already ended up making money from it, and have even lowered their average in Kaspa, down by like 3, 4, 5 cents. So actually it's been very profitable for them so far. But you've got to understand when to trade and when to just DCA as well. There's a big difference. Volume Kaspa is 250 million. Yes, that is very, very good to see. 284 million right now. Hopefully it continues going in that fashion. If it goes up higher, that could be if it goes up higher, and in particular the big exchanges right now is literally all gates, which is insane. 41% is actually way too much. But ends up being the big exchanges of the world, that could again be potentially an indicator for the big tier ones who have been waiting on the sidelines to eventually list. But again, it's a wait and see approach. Welcome back, Thomas Brother. DCA Kaspa, you know it. Thank God this is all imaginary play money and doesn't really exist. We might be in trouble. You know what I mean. Wing, Hong Brother, welcome back. Moon, in due time, hopefully. Damn, I'm preparing to buy much more Kaspa today at 5 cents or below. I'm so happy. One way around. Stay vigilant and positive. But yeah, I was also hoping for some dry powder. Well, I'm still waiting for it. I was hoping I have to stay lower for longer. Again, it still could come back down, but I'm also not. I mean, I've also skipped to quite a lot of Kaspa, so I'm not too upset in that regard about Well, I'm not too upset in that regard about Kaspa starting to rally a little bit. It would be nice to see Kaspa actually start to rally a lot, deter the FUD. The day that Kaspa surpasses all-time highs here, I will be celebrating, because just purely for my own sanity, I guess. Again, I'm chill, truth be told, but I do have a small nagging in my brain that's like, the moment you started streaming, Kaspa started coming down, and I'm like, yeah, it sucks. But I'm like, it can't be me, right? Don't tell me I'm Kaspa Guru, please don't. I'm not the Jim Cramer of Kaspa, please don't. So I'm holding strong. I'm obviously joking, but I'm holding strong. And when Kaspa passes here, then we can all celebrate together and know that the Valhalla lands are close as well. Just DCA and buy, guys, don't play that leverage. I mean, yeah, leverage can be a very risky game, but again, there are ways you can help limit your risks, which again is what we teach in the VRP group. Promise myself, only spot hold from now. You know what, actually it's funny as well you say that, because again, the individual who's part of the VRP group, who used to trade, he went to only spot as well. But thanks to what he learned in the VRP group, he ended up then starting trading again, and that's the person who loaded average down 3, 4, 5 cents. So again, that's big. I can't update Tangent. I don't exactly know why, Andy. I don't know why exactly at all, but I mean, either way, I'm sorry, but hopefully you can update it very, very soon. Before I get into more questions, so I'm going to get into more of the Kaspa announcements, ultimately what's happening right now, so we get a bit more of the insights. So, in some not important, but quite happy news in general, the official Ultimate Crypto tournament account, who was doing a poll of all the accounts, all the projects in the space, ended up finally having their winner. And as we can see from the profile picture, the winner is Kaspa, as it should be. They beat out Litecoin. There was speculation about botting and whatnot from both sides, more so for Kaspa, I think. But for me, it was quite a clear-cut winner for Kaspa in general, because again, Kaspa is already faster into the hash rate than Litecoin, and even then, Litecoin did 10 million transactions in 3 months. Kaspa did that in a single day. And also, to add the icing on the cake, Aspect, who is the guy creating Project Sparkle, smart contracts on Kaspa, he is one of the founding devs of Litecoin as well. So for me, Kaspa is quite a clear winner to Litecoin. So if you're a Litecoin holder, or you're a maxi at least, then hold that. But yes, we can see here, even he announced here, Kaspa Fens, one of my favourite things about this tournament is to learn more about cryptos I know little about, one of which being Kaspa. I see you guys are extremely passionate. Now that the tourney is over, I'd love to ask some questions tomorrow about your coin. And, the support, as always, that's the thing I love about Kaspa, right? If you are willing to learn, we will happily talk and bleed your ears. We will talk to you till our throats go dry and sore. We will happily talk about Kaspa and what we believe about the space and everything coming to it. If you're fudding Kaspa and it's based on, and it's baseless FUD or just emotional talk, that's when you can get a little bit nasty. Now, I try to obviously refrain from doing that at all means. But you got people like Nacho saying, come join our Discord. You know, they're saying, come join Blockchain Banter. You can find out more on there as well. You know, just constant support for it, which is very, very good to hear. And yeah, that is the benefit of the tournament as well. It gives you an insight on the community sentiment. So you look at the tournament, you can see here the tournament, the voting came down, and you can see the most popular ones. Well, not the best picture there, actually. Is there a better picture? Yeah, here it is. You know, the ones that did very well, that got quite far, I'll take it from the quarterfinals, was ICP, USDC, Algorand, Kaspa, Polkadot, Hedera, Cardano, and Litecoin. Now, personally, I don't care about Litecoin. I don't care about Cardano. Litecoin, I don't really care about Litecoin, but proof of work, I can give it a pass, I guess. But Cardano, don't care about. Polkadot, don't really care about. Hedera, I prefer. ICP, also think there's better AR projects out there like Tau. USDC, I mean, it's bigger stablecoin, so it makes sense. And Algorand I also like. So the only ones on video raised here would be DOT, Cardano, and ICP personally. But this again is insight on community sentiment, on what these, or the belief in this project, and quite evidently, as the accounts realise, Kaspa's support is quite clear above the rest. Very clear above the rest. Almost 50k votes, and Kaspa won by 61%. That's good to see. It's good to see. In regards to some more news though, this is a big update regarding Tangent here, which could have been its own video, truth be told. We supercharged the transaction history feature now with Kaspa coin support. Manage and track your asset with ease, Kaspa. Simply update your app and you're all set. So maybe I'm misinformed too, I'm misunderstanding things, but it sounds like Tangent has integrated Kaspa technology to make it even faster. Maybe I'm misreading that, but if that's the case, again, this is proof of what Kaspa is going to have very, very soon going forward as well, in terms of just global adoption. And Tangent, of course, is, in my belief, and that's not because I'm a Kaspa maxi in just general, I think it's the best cold storage out there. You've got Wonky, you've got Ledger as well, but I think Tangent's the best one. And they are very, very big supporters of Kaspa. I think they're perfectly partnered with them, which is very good to see as well. In other news as well, tomorrow, right now, ongoing, is you've got the KF and other Kaspa members who are at the Hong Kong Web3 Festival, despite all this market uncertainty right now. Apparently there was a talk yesterday from Polinsky, which is going to be uploaded later today, or later once the event's over. 6th to 9th of April is this event, and tomorrow is the 8th of April, and on the 8th of April, you're going to see many, many interviews happening with Tom Polinsky, with Michael Sutton, with Igra Labs, who are going to be dropping some more alpha news as well, Casplex as well, and many more from the KEF team, and much, much more. See us tomorrow, don't miss out. Secure your free ticket by registering in advance. It's not every day you get to experience Tom Polinsky and Michael Sutton in full immersive 3D. It's going to be a very exciting event, and I'm looking forward very much to seeing, because they have confirmed they're recording. Well, they confirmed they're recording Tom Polinsky. I'm not sure they're recording everything, but I hope they do. And I'll be looking forward to watching this on playback and just, look into everything that's going on right now, truly. And as I already highlighted at the beginning of the video, or earlier on, Wallet 2 continue to add more and more capital despite the market's conditions right now. And added just another one here, another 1.6 million Kaspa, just over $100,000. They continue to stack, which is very, very good to see. Which is a sign once more that, I mean, you can even see it here. You can see a lot of outflows right now. That's mainly because people are buying. And look at all the inflows as well. 8.5 mil, 7.5 mil, 5.5 mil, 4.5 mil, 4.2, 3.4. All the millions and millions of Kaspa. The bigger wallets, the whales, are continuing to accumulate more and more. They have no doubt in their minds that Kaspa are going to do so much better from here. They're still stacking. Some are exchanges, some are just big wallet holders, I'm assuming. Kaspa is still in a very strong position right now. While some markets like Chaos 20 are definitely capitulating right now, due to the uncertainty right now. Nacho down to 9.3 mil, PPCAS 5.5, Kango just short of 4 mil, and still some are a lot struggling. There are a lot of projects I think are going to do very, very well that have got good, strong, foundation, if you will. I think Wolfie is a hidden gem that's not spoke about enough. And that's probably because of bias for me, because again, it's a bar that's based in London. So, me being a Londoner, I do like that. KDAO, of course, is also extremely big as well. And when Kaspa does recover, in due time for me, the hash rate will recover. And the big projects in the ecosystem here will also recover as well. You see a lot more created as well, I'm sure. Make sure to avoid the scam ones. But these ones here, you could argue they aren't scams here because they survived the test of time. But of course, do your own research and trade your own discretion. But right now, I think Kaspa against strong position. Nose again, the hard fork right now we're seeing almost at 40% now. Good to see, and we'll see, of course, all of these have to be 100% before the 5th of May, otherwise it won't work anymore. So again, it's all by design, it's a matter of time. It's a long game, it's a very long game, but I'm not worried in the slightest right now. And Kaspa again is currently up 8%, and we've seen it up higher today. It might end up coming back down later today. It's very volatile today. Again, right now, all eyes on the Fed meeting, closed door meeting, and what may be announced on tariff updates and whatnot. That's all that's taking the headlines right now, so we have to pay very close eyes onto that, no doubt. What's up, all in, brother? I need to wait until I get the next week before I can buy Kaspa. I wish I could pick it up at 5 cents. Yeah, you and me both, man. I wish I had some more dry powder as well. Welcome back, Gamer Zone. Crypto Galaxy said it's not the tariffs, but the correction of the price. Do you believe it's true? No. No, not at all. I don't believe that's true at all. The markets are correcting because macro news is weighing in. The correction of the price is because of the macro fundamental news, which is in correlation to tariffs. The tariffs themselves aren't directly, I guess it's somewhat right. The tariffs themselves aren't directly affecting the markets in the sense of but the headlines of them and the uncertainty they bring and the worries of trade war. So the tariffs as a correlation, they are the ones causing correction in the markets. But again, I don't think the tariffs are the sole reason for it either. Because I do believe, as I mentioned again, in a little bit in my recent video, and even a lot more detail in this video here, which again, you should definitely go check out if you haven't done so already, I believe this market correction is by design. Tucker Carlson had a interview with the US Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, and he even confirmed that right now there's so much debt that is reaching maturity that the United States need to refinance $9 trillion. So therefore the market correction is by design so they can refinance it at cheaper rates. So I think it's more than just tariffs. I think there's a lot more going on. It's not just tariffs. There's more reason for why the markets are correcting, but tariffs are definitely the headline reason for it. But we'll see it end up hopefully, leveling out in the next couple of weeks. New liquidity has been created on Kaspa after having taken everything, but are we really at the bottom? It's tough to say right now, DD. Truth be told, I think this is why I'm saying this week I'd highly state that everyone should be tuning in every single day to these streams and equally join the free community so you can find out when I'm going live. And again, if you want to find out even more information, then come join the VIP group and you'll end up hitting more of the institutional research documents and insight on what's happening right now and when the bottom's going to come in. My belief at the bottom is very, very close. If I was to give a rough prediction, I'm going to say next 2 weeks. But it does depend on what happens in the macro news. If you get a surprise, trade war, God forbid, touch wood, then yes, we'll go down further. But otherwise, I think things are near their bottom. I think Kaspa is definitely near its bottom, no doubt. It keeps being... you could argue, despite it's slightly lower here, they're so close you can argue this is a double bottom. So if you do get bullish news today from the Fed, and then equally the inflation data coming out on Thursday is good, and equally there becomes more and more nations who come to negotiate with Trump, especially if China does it. If China negotiates with Trump, then it'll all come to an end. Because China's the big cause for it right now, because they're the ones I think who are the main drivers of... again, China's market had an 2008 financial crash. They're the ones who I think are at the second biggest economy as well. So if the second biggest economy starts working with the biggest economy, then, all crises will be averted, I'd like to believe. Of course, anything happened though again, so you have to keep that in mind, but I believe the bottom is almost in. How much do you think Kaspa will reach by the end of the year? I don't do price predictions anymore, because I think it's a toxic mindset. I say it all the time now, but I think Kaspa will do very, very well. I will say at least this, I do think Kaspa quite comfortably surpasses all-time highs. You think now is a good price to buy or wait for it to drop again? If you're trading, again, you have to play a wait and see approach because trading is very difficult. Basically, if you're just spot trading and DCAing, Kaspa's currently down 70 odd percent. Well, it's down 70%, drop bottom down here 75%. You might see more pullbacks in the short term, but for me, Kaspa is most definitely undervalued right now. So whether you buy now or not is completely up to you, not financial advice. But think about it this way: In my belief, if and when Kaspa surpasses all-time highs, will it matter so much if you've got Kaspa down here or got it down here? When the returns are going to be 300%, 321%, or I guess it's quite a big jump, 400%, but either way, in the long term, it won't matter that much. Wait, Fed is cutting rates? Potentially. There's a closed-door meeting today, happening at 11:30 a.m. I believe that's Eastern Standard Time. And they will be most likely discussing what course of action to take to avoid a recession to cut rates. And that's also what Bob Michael, the global head of fixed income at JP Morgan, stated as well, that Fed cannot wait until the next FOMC meeting in May. They've got to do it earlier. Or at least he doesn't think they can do. Buy the dip in Australia is literally 10 cents, pretty cheap in my opinion still. I mean, yeah, Australia had a big fall off. So I'm sure everything in Australia right now is very cheap. More dump to come maybe, potentially. But I think that now would be a good time to add to your bag. People calling bear market like crazy. Monetary policies likely will loosen in the near term. Liquidity will flow in crazy. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of confirmation or a lot of waves of bear market calls. And I highlight it again. For me, that is not the case because there are still so many huge catalysts that have not come into play yet. And I'm talking the QE and the rate cuts that will come through before we end up getting a recession and a bear market. This crypto stablecoin bill and the crypto market structure bills are coming through in America and other bills around the world as well. Those are big catalysts still to come through. And once we come through, if we still get corrective markets after that, then yes, sure, bear market. But until then, no. We had a similar situation in 2001 with Bitcoin. We saw the COVID situation and the FTX crash. And the Fed printed money here as well. We saw a recovery. Alone the last hour Kaspa pump is a proof that Kaspa will explode when time is near. Exactly. People who are flooding Kaspa, I get it. You know, it's done badly in price action right now, but you can see there's still a lot of volatility in Kaspa when it's right. It hasn't got the use case just yet, but that's being built in the next month. 10 BPS following that, you'll see EVMs, you'll see smart contracts, you'll see stablecoins. You've got the KRI, which I mentioned in my recent video, who have already put through the next step for their gigawatt stablecoin. That's now actually ready, or getting through to the next stage of being ready is a big step. They've got Gross out, huge. So yeah, that is the volume of Kaspa, and the proof is that adoption's still there. It's just waiting for the right catalyst, and the catalysts again are not far off now. If Bitcoin dropped to 70-22k on the 9th or earlier, Kaspa is going to be so tasty. Yeah, Kaspa will come down further, and it's going to explode like mad, no doubt. My mother wants to take some more, but I'm waiting. This morning I'm hesitant, but I think it might not be over. But some good news and hot pop pump. Yeah, I think, yeah. Fears at all-time highs. Even my parents were calling me today saying, are you okay? Because the market's crashing right now because of Trump, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about. At least right now there isn't. My personal belief again. If your Kaspa goes another 20%, you will need 230% up just to get 16 cents. I mean, yeah, that is true. But again, think about it in market cap. That sounds like quite a big jump, but think about it in market cap perspective. 16 cents, which is, you know, just around here, is around is a 14 bill market cap. Oh no, sorry, not 14, 4 bill market cap. We surpassed that quite comfortably before. That's not too much to ask for. 4 bill is quite comfortable for Kaspa, easy in my belief. Kaspa holding 6 cents is actually super strong. I am pleasantly surprised it's above 5 cents. So am I. It might come up further, no doubt, but I'm surprised and I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I'm happy and I'm content that it will stay that way. Worst case come back a little bit lower, but it's not going to come down too much further from here. I can see it in the 5s in after midnight hours without any good news potentially. I mean, yeah, if the Fed do not cut rates today, then we might see it come back down again. This news of the Europe negotiating with Trump will hopefully alleviate some of the FUD, but if we don't get the Fed cutting rates today, that might cause capital to come back down again. What's up, Andy? Hey, brother, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're doing very, very well. I bought 47 more Kaspa. Love to hear it, bro. Keep stacking that bag, man. You're a god. Yeah, God Andy, no doubt. In any case, seeing 250 million volume indicates that once good market conditions will be there for the moment. Yeah, I mean, you know, skimming over that, I apologize, but yes, you're completely right. The fact that we're seeing so much volume of Kaspa right now is an indicator that once the big catalysts come through, smart contracts, gigawatt, preparation, and that sort of stuff, it will be explosive. Tier 1s will follow that as well. The Binance, the Coinbase, the OKX will follow that as well. Upbit as well. And as Art0 says, if you enjoy the streams every single day, be doing this, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Red or green, I'm here every single day. The only reason I'm not being here is when I had family situations, but otherwise, you'll not miss me. Trump is threatening China with additional tariffs on China 50% extra if they don't remove their retaliation tariffs by tomorrow. Again, Trump can do that by throwing his dick about. He can just do that. He has also cancelled all talks with China. This is the Madman theory in action. I mean, again, it is very, very aggressive behaviour, but it could work. You know, that's the problem right now is the trade war going on. But if America keeps doing this, and after China just witnessed this 2008 financial crash in the stock market, how much more pain can they hold on to? How much more pain can America hold on to as well? So China is either going to have to cut their losses or stand their ground, and then we witness a big situation. But I like to believe they will end up coming to some form of agreement. They have to. I can't wait for the last 5 days of April. Things may get interesting. I'm going to take a shot of tequila for Cinco de Kaspa Day in celebration. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be very happy on the 5th, no doubt. I hope Tangent will add Tau and Sui staking so we can pull out of our exchanges. I mean, maybe it's worth asking them. I mean, they're normally quite active on their Twitter. If you ask them if they're going to do it, they might reply to you saying they have it in motion or not. But of Tangent and who they are, I'm sure they will add those sort of assets and stake it in due time. Tau, I'm definitely sure of. I'm not so much sure about Sui. Purely because Tau is decentralized, fair launch like Kappa is. Sui is not. But I mean, again, it still would be a good bet, I'm sure, to start staking. Staking actually is sort of a very good way to make capital in this market. I ordered a Tangent ring size 10 in January and they still have not sent it. I think they're having issues with size 10s because, so be careful ordering. Good to note. Good to know. I'm sure they'll fix it soon. I hope it gets come to you very soon though, Ronnie. I wear rings on my nether regions. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that was not... I did not need to read that out. Yeah, do a modelling photos to QC. Yeah, please don't. I don't need to see that. The meeting is like right now. 11:30 ET to UK. Yes, that is right. That's about half an hour ago from what I'm on. If it is Eastern Standard Time, which I think it is, then yes, that would have happened half an hour ago. So we'll hear hopefully an announcement very, very soon what the Fed are planning to do. Caught the dib. Love to hear that, Stephen King, brother. Keep going, bro. Buying $250 now gives you the same amount of capital at $1,000 when it was at all-time highs. People don't realise this. They don't like the sales, but don't mind paying. Yeah, they don't mind the sell, but they don't mind the sales, but they hate. But they don't mind paying full price. Yeah, it's something that Warren Buffett said as well. Warren Buffett was literally saying, all these retailers, they love to see the green and hate to see the red. But actually, the big Wall Street institutions, they love to see the red and hate to see the green. They can keep stacking lower and lower and lower. No, it's going to go up higher in the future. By the way, QC, I'm a captain miner. Please don't ban me. I have been thorough enough. No, don't worry, Ronnie. I understand it's all jokes. It's all love. Don't worry. It's all love. Yeah. It's all love. It's all right. I mean, you should have seen this on Mr. Miles when he's normally in the channel. I mean, it's a bit early for him. I know he's in a different region, but when Mr. Miles joins these chats, the stuff he normally says is ridiculous. What he said is very, very tame. Of course, I don't want to get ridiculous, but yeah, it's all good, bro. What's up, War Britannia, bro? I'm doing very, very well. Welcome back to the channel. But with that being said, I am currently running short on time for other stuff I've got to do today, so I hope you had a very, very good day so far. Market's looking good so far. Kaspa's coming back a little bit, but again, keep your eyes peeled, because now the meeting should have concluded or close to conclusion right now, so hopefully we'll hear an announcement about this very, very soon. I'll make an announcement about it most likely in my community. If you want to find out more, again, join the free Discord community here. Keep up to date with crypto and Kaspa. If you want to get even more informed, check out the VIP group. We talk about crypto in general, of course, Kaspa as well. We're covering institutional research documents. We do weekly live streams, buy and sell alert, trading education, and so much more there. So if you want to find out a lot more, then come check us out as well. Links down in the description. Also my homepage here as well. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. The worst may be over now. Black Monday may be averted. A lot is still to come. With that being said, have a great day, good evening, and good night. I am going, Andy. I'm sorry, bro. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow will also be a big day. This week's going to be huge, so I recommend tuning in every single day to these streams. So yeah.